What's up, guys? The watch guy in Namibia in South Africa, and I'm sitting with two amazing watch dealers, Adriaan from Lux Time and Roland from the gallery.
Yeah, the
From
RC Gallery.
Yeah, he does diamonds, jewelry, and watches. And today we're just going to be talking shit. We're going to talk about the market, watches, all sorts of things. I'm very privileged to be here. Adriaan gave me some time and space. Thank you. How are you doing today?
Welcome. No, good. Things are well.
I want to talk about that though.
A wrist check and
Oh.
see what you got.
I want to talk about what's on your wrist. I'm wearing a Starbucks today, so it's the Rolex Starbucks green bezel, black dial.
Little Venga.
We don't talk about what Roland does diamonds better than he does watches, but he
It's
knows
true,
his
though.
shit because he was able to identify that. You're wearing a Sea Dweller, but it's a particular model. Very
this
short production run.
Sea Dweller 4000. They didn't make a lot of them.
No, they didn't. It's this very short production run, and it was one of the first watches that came out with a ceramic bezel.
That's right, from Rolex.
And it's a 40 millimeter. This is a 41. And what Roland actually pointed out is that because it's the smaller size, the lugs are actually much nicer and they don't overlap and taper, and it sits well on the wrist. And I tried to make an offer for it. I was being a porra, and he politely declined with a fuck yo straight to my face. So what's happening in the market? How is the South African market? You guys do really well. I know for a fact last year, our other colleague in Cape Town, he sold 13 watches in May. In Namibia, I sold 13 watches all of last year.
I think the South African market is probably proportionally, I mean, we don't sell as many watches as the guys overseas do, but proportionally, we are stronger than the rest of the world at the moment. You'll have noticed, you do a lot of international deals, you're on with a lot of international groups. The prices we're paying here are very competitive, if not stronger,
I
than what the
think
guys are paying overseas.
We pay pretty strong compared to overseas guys, or what I've seen on the dealer chats. But what have you found? Do you think the South African market? Where are we at? Are we at like 80% of it, or is there still like 50%?
So much room for growth.
Really?
So much room for growth. There's still so many people that remain, 10, 15, 20 years later now, that remain unaware of the secondary market when it comes to watches.
That's what I find in Namibia as well. They Google the price and then I can get this price for my watch. I'm like, but that's end user pricing. I can't offer you that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people contact me like, I want to buy a watch. I'm like, this is the price range. And they're like, no, sorry, I can't. But then so my main aim now with my channel that's not as big as obviously yours. You're a rock fucking star. You're a celebrity to me. Sorry, when you meet your idols, is just educating people on the watches. And I always try to tell clients that you can buy an Audi A4. It's 1.2 million with extras 1.3. You take it off the lot. You're not selling it for the same price. Buy the right model AP, the right model Rolex, Patek, Vacheron, and within a year or three, we could potentially double your money if you want to sell. And you get to wear it, you get to rock it. It's a nice investment piece in terms of time, and also you get your money. You won't lose.
You're jumping the gun here. We're talking about the market. I want to find. So if you had like say you had unlimited money to buy watches in Namibia, would you be able to spend all that money, or is the market just?
In my country, no, we don't have an AD. There's a very small market, so I can't buy watches, which is why I always come here to come pick up watches if need be. And I don't keep stock there, so when I do get watches, I send it to you, or whoever else, and I sell it here quicker than I can sell it in Namibia.
You also find that, even if we had unlimited capital to buy stock, you're not going to use all of it because there's just not enough watches.
Yeah, I think the fact that Mosa's got 2 stores in the country, Jean's not in the country, Richard Mill's not in the country, AP's not in the country. There's a lot of brands that just aren't here, and the number of doors for Rolex, our allocation's small. I think is ultimately what it comes down to, and we feed off of what sells into the new market. I think that's an interesting point talking about the market. New market prices. IWC Big Pilot 46, not 250,000 rand.
Expensive in my opinion,
Navy
for an
Tigers,
IWC.
180.
It's expensive.
Carrera Tag, that used to be a bread and butter watch for me when I was an 80. That's now 100 to 120 grand for a
and
watch.
the new Porsche X is what, 400?
It limits the number of watches hitting the new market, which again then.
But my challenge is again in Namibia education. People only know Rolex. What they've done for the luxury watch market is this. I'll tell a guy, you've got X amount, we can sell you a nice Chopard, let's look it up Breitling. Maybe an Omega, we'll get you a nice Speedmaster. No, when I walk into those meetings, they need to see a Rolex. Then they'll take me seriously. So
kudos to
brand.
Namibia though. In fairness, you can still safely wear your Rolex.
I can. I mean, I was telling you, the receptionist that let me in, I went with 3 Rolexes to a coffee shop the other day and I just sat there waiting for client came, look, I can do that in my country, which is still fairly safe, but also Namibia is that small that if anything were to happen, I would probably eventually get the person.
Probably end up with you again.
It'll come full circle. That's what happened with the Patek actually, yes. It was scary, but it happens. But in Namibia, yes, we are fairly safe. We don't have a lot of violent crime. And hopefully we'll be able to have a luxury time in Namibia coming soon.
How many companies do you have? Are you watch guy in Namibia or religious?
Are we going to do that? Okay, so Paulo does stand-up comedy. Instagram. I have Foxglove Digital, a social media marketing agency that I run. I work full-time for oil and gas company. I have the Horologist CC, so that's my close corporation, so I sell watches. And then I do a bunch of other shit. I play football. I have a small talent agency for soccer players that need to get to Europe. I do a lot.
Yeah, so in Namibia you have to be a bit creative with...
I have to be, your salary will never make you rich. My previous boss said that to me. He was Namibia's first publicly listed billionaire. And he got a Bentley, 4 Bentleys, and I asked him, what did you do with those Breitlings? Nee, wat? Die horlosies wat jy het gekry met die kar. He's like, oh, they're in my safe at home. I think I gave one to my son. I'm like, but your son's 17. Like, what's he doing with the Breitling for Bentley? Like,
it was big.
And there were those gaudy. That's the thing with Breitling. They made those horrible 44 millimeter size. Those things were big and uncomfortable to wear.
48 or 50. They were massive.
The Bentleys, yes, but now they do the 44s. My Breitling is a 41, and I like that size. Or 40, and I like that size. Just nice, comfortable. And after a day on the wrist, it gets heavy.
Look, I think every brand has its iconic piece. Right, so Omega, it's a Speedy, obviously. With Rolex, it's a sub. And the Daytona, well, Rolex probably has 3 or 4 iconic pieces in their line. You can look at Tag Heuer and you've got to talk about a Monaco. You've got Breitling, you've got to talk about a Navitana. This is lying on the desk.
50 fathoms.
While we're talking about something topical, the world's first. I don't know if you watched a little Instagram clip going around. I've sent it to a few people. I sent it to Shane from your office, where they asked people standing in the queue outside of the stores, I think this was in the Paris location, waiting for the Blancpain X watch 50 fathoms. Have you ever heard of Blancpain?
No.
Before? And everyone said, yes, I've known about them for at least 2 hours. And so on,
A whole 2 hours.
So we're talking about a brand that did the world's first dive watches.
Yes.
Basically invented the category that is so popular today, the sports watch. That's a Blancpain 50 fathoms.
It's on my grail list, and I almost bought one in Dubai a few years ago, but again, it doesn't have that brand popularity. I would have bought it because I'm a pure horologist. And the one thing I'm really excited about is that they didn't go with a quartz movement like they did with the fucking Moon Swatch. The Moon Swatch, I bought mine, I got it, and I was like, no, fuck it, I sold it.
It was nice for a week.
But we're forgetting one thing. What they did was, or what it has done for the industry, is that it's brought attention to watches, to horology, got people interested in high-end timepieces that will A, last you a lifetime, B, be an heirloom that you can hand down. My first Rolex is from 1948. My grandfather bought it when he opened his first butchery. We're porters, we have shops. Mini markets, bottle stores, whatever. He opened a butchery in Windhoek. And after the first year, he bought himself a Rolex. Went to my dad, went to me. I'm giving it to my child. That's what I like about watches. And it has to have a
how did you
movement.
get into watches?
Well, he wanted to say something first.
No, please.
My mom had a guest house. That's how it started. My mom had a small guest house that catered only to Angolans.
How long ago?
Fucking, I was 6, 7. And Angolans, it was predominantly for the Angolan market. And back then, Angolans had a lot of money from the oil and whatever. And they always came with wads of US dollar, but they always came wearing nice watches. And for me, it was always the thing of like, oh, if you have money or you have some sort of substance, you wear a nice watch. And my wife thinks I'm an absolute chop because I will go to town in my Mr. Price Pluckies, my shorts and a t-shirt, but I'll be wearing my 18 karat yellow gold date. And I was like, you're wearing like 700 Rand worth of clothing within your wrist. I'm like, yes, that's how you measure a man by what he has on his wrist. And you can tell a person is
As a porter, I agree with you. We don't measure men by their height.
We're short. All porters are short. It's
100%.
low center of gravity. But yeah, I got into watches because they always came in when they had nice watches, and I'd always just be able to spot like, oh, that's a Breitling. Oh, that's this, and I'd get annoyed when people have a nice watch but they don't know it. You're like, hey, that's a nice AP this, and they're like, what? I'm like, your Audemars Piguet. What? Your watch? Oh, yes, whatever. I picked it up at the airport in Singapore or something, or I got it as a gift from... So I'm like, how do you get into those circles where you get an AP as a gift? I'm not there yet. Adriaan?
No.
That's a nice... my birthday's coming up.
So there's Jacob Zuma circles.
That,
start handing out.
that's government contracts.
You get AP. Everybody get
a deal. the package. You get
So look,
That's how I got into watches.
on
You
the
say.
industry, right? Prices are falling, negativity, blah blah. We're going to get into all of that, right? But what I'm finding as a result of that, and it's taking me back to from when I first met you, this Swatch X collaboration, whether you're talking about the Moon Swatch or the Blaupon, has highlighted something that's been missing from the Swiss watch industry for years. Because for those who follow the stats, Swiss watch industry is in dollar or Swiss franc terms been exporting more and more watches every year. The growth has been about 15% on average over the last 15 years. It's huge, right?
It's big.
But the number of watches has been declining by an average of 17%. So it's just more expensive product, fewer of them, and away we go, right? Watches reached a point where, from the new market, we've discussed the prices, they sucked. And on the secondary market, things peaked. It got unattractive. It wasn't fun anymore. I was so tired of dealing with, I hear the word investment again, it's just...
But everyone pushed it. We
Oh, yeah.
We
all got rolled up into it. No, myself as well.
But
yeah, 100%.
the one thing you need to remember is that Rolex, for example, is owned by a foundation, little known fact, we know it. So they're not driven by profits. Rolex actually makes a loss. They make their money from the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation with all the properties they have. The Swatch Group, which owns Omega, LVMH, they are driven by profits and share price. So they need to make a sale. They need to push. What's the gimmick this year? Oh, let's do a collaboration with Blancpain. Let's get the sales up. Shareholders are happy to make money.
There's a lot of debate as to whether or not this is good for the reputation of Blancpain, Omega, and so on.
It's not, but they were
to
doing
me,
sales. They
just looking at the industry as a whole, what the Swatch X collaborations have done, what the Seiko 5 Turtles, and we can even talk about a Chinese brand like Seega Design coming from out of nowhere, winning Grand Prix de Horlogerie awards, Red Dot Design awards. These more affordable brands having come in have finally gotten younger people excited about watches.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people knew about Blancpain?
Very
Let's
few.
say 10%. Now it's going to be 100%.
Absolutely,
But that's the thing, they would buy the Swatch Blancpain, but would they go to a store and actually buy an actual Blancpain?
No, but it might be something they aspire to because now
that's
they
the thing, it's aspiration, which is what
You
Swatch
just
did with the
told the
Omega.
story.
People want the Speedmaster
And
now.
let's imagine now, at 13 years old, your dad gives you a Swatch Blancpain, and at the age of 42,
you get the
you've made your own money, you
sure.
become successful in life. Blancpain will more than likely be a brand that you aspire to.
For me, yes.
Yeah.
As a watch person, but for someone else, I still need a Rolex because again, no one knows Blancpain. I walk into a meeting, they're like, "Oh, nice Blancpain." No, they're like, "Wow, is that a Rolex?" That's sadly the reality because they did well with their marketing over the years.
Rolex does dominate the industry in terms of high-end luxury watches.
25% of the whole market, and then Cartier, Omega
more,
second.
It's up to 46.
46, and then Omega second.
Cartier second.
Cartier
overtook them last year, and then Omega from there. But to me, just to see people excited about watches again, and they don't have to be crazy, just watches becoming cool again is fantastic.
Yeah, because you know what annoys me the most is, hey, what time is it? Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's 12.
Or the smartwatch.
I hate that.
Can't eat
Or hey, you think you're talking to somebody and you're wasting his time because no, he's reading a WhatsApp, he's reading a mail, an email on his fucking wrist. I can't.
That I'm
pisses
not
me off.
overly negative on the smartwatch space. Right. The smartwatch thing, to me, it's got two decent points to it. The first one is, again, owning the real estate on a young person's wrist. Cannot underestimate the fact that people now between the age of 16 and 30 have no intention or no desire to buy a watch, right? A smartwatch, on the other hand, they would buy.
Yeah.
They get annoyed with it after 4 to 6 years because a new one comes out every year to 2 years. Yours
you have
becomes
to update
redundant.
your version and
The hardware, the
yeah.
software you can update, the hardware
Yeah,
you
you
can't.
update the
Eventually it
software.
reaches a point where it's out of date, you've got to throw it away. That's where, if you want to talk about sustainability, a good mechanical watch can, as we mentioned earlier, last you forever. It got watches onto people's wrists. Once you're used to wearing something, going without one makes you feel naked, right? We've all had this as you walk around without a watch and you just feel like, there's nothing, I feel strange. That then gives the brands the opportunity to market to these people and say, what you want on that wrist is one of these. And that's what I think the Swatch X collaboration has done for the industry.
What do you think about smartwatches? And then we could probably
Yeah,
wrap up. This has been long enough.
No, it's got its place in the market.
With
But I mean,
professionals,
it's not. We don't buy tag connected watches, just purely because the software is or it gets outdated in a few years. It doesn't work with a phone. It just gets a lot of issues. But I mean, I use a smartwatch when I gym, but I use my Apple Watch.
When I gym, I use headphones. I don't use a watch, but okay, that makes sense. But I hate it. Like
To be happy,
you get
man.
buzzed the whole time. Like, oh look, I got an email or WhatsApp. You're talking to somebody and
No,
he
but
does this, and you see it's a phone
but
call. No.
I don't use it for that. I use it to measure my heart rate, calories, and stuff like that.
That makes sense. That I will agree with, and that I understand.
And that's the second point about a smartwatch is it's virtue signaling. So your 45-year-old to 60-year-old recently divorced man, what would a guy?
Why must he be recently divorced though? Sorry.
But these
Maybe
are
he's
facts.
happily
These are
married.
facts. Only what 40%
Okay.
of marriages last. You used to have your midlife crisis.
You buy a
I don't know,
Porsche.
buy a Porsche.
Yeah.
Now you buy a fitness bike, and you cycle and pretend you own the road and have me hooting at you all day.
I know, because he's always in the middle.
But you wear a smartwatch because it's a virtue signal. Like, look, I'm into my health, I'm into my fitness. I can compete with the 20-year-old men out there as you re-enter the market. And that is the second thing that a smartwatch does. None of those are particularly attractive. And we'll find the guys will be moving back into traditional Swiss watches that speak about your personality and speak about what you aspire to and what you sort of identify with. I can put it
But that's what the people have been fed to identify with. Identify with getting a smartwatch, buy a house, like no. You should identify with getting a proper watch that will last you forever. It's an heirloom. I'm going to give half of my watches to my children. That's just how it is. Patek's tagline is exactly that. You don't own a Patek. You're just holding it for the next generation.
Yeah, you just.
It's going to last you that long.
All you can pass them nowadays is your place on the wait list.
Yeah.
Now, yes. Well, let's talk about that. That's the issue.
Them for the next generation.
Okay, so wait
that's
list.
the issue.
Rolex bought
Bucherer.
Right?
I think it's to control the customer experience.
We were looking at a cool AP in Adrian's office earlier. They've already gone direct to market. They own all of their boutiques. Rolex has always said, it's not our fault that the dealers are treating you like shit.
The dealers are bad.
It's not our fault that the dealers are flipping watches to the grey market.
Because essentially Rolex is B2B. Rolex is a B2B business. I produce this product and I sell it to a business that sells it to B2C.
And a lot of people think when they walk through Heathrow or down the streets of Hong Kong when they see a Rolex sign on the wall, and it's a Rolex branded store. Yeah. You could be forgiven.
Because they manage their branding very well, though.
They don't own that store. The logo.
No, they don't own it, but they manage their branding. You have brand guidelines. You have to have a certain size.
Now that they've gone and bought Bucherer, now that they are in ownership of the company that is in charge of the relationship that you have with the experience that you have, to my mind, great move. Because
it's a baller move. It's an Adriaan move. It's a big boy move.
The one negative thing about Rolex has been the experience in purchasing.
Always.
For the last 4 or 5 years.
And people don't know that. Well, in my country, you guys, people always come to me like, I want a Rolex. It's this price. I'll go to the shop. Then they walk in. I'm like, you can't just walk in and be like, I'll buy this Rolex now. They're like, sorry, so let me put your name on the list. The what? There's a list. People don't know this.
Name on the list would be fine. It's that we need you to have.
Yes, that's where the dealer makes his money though. That's before. You need to spend X amount of money with me first. You need to have bought jewelry for your wife. You need to have bought 5 watches. Then I can sell you the Rolex you want. Or you need to have bought 2 Rolexes that you don't want to get the one you want. So you buy the date just 36 for your wife. You buy one for your daughter, and then you can get the Submariner that you've been after.
I think what Rolex has done, because they also recently, Adriaan, launched their pre-owned market.
Yes,
have you bought any yet, by the way? Have you bought any Rolex pre-owned certified? None yet.
They give you the little white
white tag, but apparently you don't get the papers, the original.
You don't. No,
they give you the white card. You don't get the green card.
You get the
in my personal opinion, it's worse off than the actual watch with its original card.
Exactly the same.
To simplify it, it's like a car dealer. You trade in your Polo to get the Amarok. That's what I think they're trying to do. So we can't sell you the Submariner or the Daytona now. Buy this Datejust or this not Datejust. Sorry, this Datejust.
Datejust or an OP.
Buy an OP or a Datejust. Bring it in after a year or 2. We'll take it. Is it 3 years? We bring it back in. Then we can get you the watch you want. So buy the Polo now. Come back and get your Amarok.
Did you see the prices that they're selling today?
I wish we could get those prices.
Is it that bad?
Yeah, no, we could retire in a year if we could achieve those. Yeah.
Really?
A Batman we would sell now in the market for, let's say, a new model. Okay, let's use an older model. Probably 250. They'll probably sell it for close to 400,000.
For a pre-owned.
Their prices is crazy. And I wonder if they're actually buying the watches in.
No, APRA basis.
Really?
Every person I know who's dealt with a Rolex AD with that certified pre-owned program.
But there isn't one in South Africa.
That's APRA basis. Nobody I'm aware of busy doing an SA yet now. Be interesting to see if they do. There's rumors of a boutique opening quite soon. Love to see that happen.
What, a Rolex?
A Rolex boutique. Yeah.
Wow.
Love to
Yeah,
see
because Rolex
that.
now owns,
Yeah.
well, they'll probably open a Bucharest so they can have their Rolex section and then sell all the. And I wonder how the other brands feel about this because now the Rolex can also sell they can sell Omegas, Breitlings. It's.
I wonder if there was an
very
AP boutique would do well in SA. Everyone
Yes.
here wants AP, and there's
Yes.
just there's
And
just
off camera,
no,
I can tell you something about that.
there's just
yes.
no AP.
Yeah.
Well, that means that's probably time to wrap up. I was at a AP dealer, AD in Qatar, and the watches. And I even told him, look, we're here to buy an AP because I had a client with me, a lawyer. We were in Qatar, and we walked in, and I was trying to convince him to buy another AP. And then he showed him the code 1159. Now, horologist, you watch people. I'm like 1159, amazing watch. Buy it now. He's like, I'm not gonna buy an AP that doesn't look like an AP.
Yeah.
I can't walk around with people gonna be like, what the fuck is that? He's like, he wants an AP that looks. And then I eventually told the guy, listen, we're from Africa. We don't have dealers in our country.
Yeah.
You need to make a plan now. It's gonna lose the sale. He's like, no, if he buys the 1159, I'll bring out the other drawer. And I'm like, just show us. He eventually showed me like 3 watches, and he's like, I can't sell these to you because these Qataris and these Arabs, they have money. They'll come buy this tomorrow. But I can't sell it to you. First buy the. He was trying to make 2 sales actually. But if he had just done the right thing, we would have bought that AP, the Royal Oak. It was a freaking nice jumbo. And then my client said that I would buy the 1159 for my wife. But he refused. APs are nice.
And that's where the market is.
Yeah.
Where you've worked hard, achieved, there should be a reward to yourself, and you just can't.
Speaking about the market, what was your journey like? How did you get into watches, and what was your, like for me, it was Casio, Tissot, first salary I spent on a Tissot Vizio Date Heritage Edition, I still have it. Then you move on to Seiko, then you finally get onto your Breitlings, Omegas, then you move on to your Rolexes.
Yeah, mine started at Swatch, then a Guess watch,
Yes.
then, yeah,
Fossil. Oh.
and then a fake Psycho, and then a fake Tag.
When a 40-year-old man wears a replica, I don't get it.
No,
When a
replica
19-year-old
games,
student wears a
no.
replica, I
It's not
get
even
it
a
because he's
conversation.
aspiring. He's trying to signal, look, this is the watch I want. I can't afford the original, but I'll
But,
get the replica
yeah.
now. But I mean, when a 40-year-old man that has a decent salary and he's wearing a replica, I'm like, no, dude.
We have clients that are like extremely wealthy, and they still buy a fake because they just don't.
They don't see the
They,
value.
no,
in the
yeah,
watch.
they don't want to put so much money into a watch, but they'll rather wear a fake because it's makes them feel
A
good. But,
Bolex.
but I mean,
I
if
don't
you
know.
sit, when I sit to someone I notice fake, you don't. You feel
This
like
is
the
what
old
they
guy.
don't
You
realize.
can't trust this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been in situations
Half
like
the
that.
room doesn't know,
Yeah.
but there are 3 or 4 people in that room who are very.
And always when you
Yeah.
when you ask them about it, it's like I've given it as a gift, or
Yeah.
Oh.
I've been in situations
I
like that.
don't
This
know,
man
but
is
they-
wealthy, but you're wearing.
they
I'm
all
like,
know.
Oh, yeah,
Everyone-
100%.
Guys that wear the fake,
Some people
they-
don't know. Some people have a bit of doubt. But I've been in
95%
situations where
know.
you're wealthy, you have money, you came in, and why are you wearing like that? That's dodgy. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Okay, but okay, so you had a fossil. I'm still not over that. Adriaan Rootman owned a fossil. Just putting it on the record.
Fossil played a bit of a role
Oh, fuck.
in the starting of luxury
Yeah.
time, in fairness. Eh?
Really?
Yeah.
Fossil.
Fossil.
Started luxury time.
No.
Or played a
Well,
role.
played a
Sorry.
role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the deals, or not deals that I did. I bought a fossil for 700 rand in Dubai for my mom, and I came down to South Africa, and in the store in Menlyn, it was like 2,500 or 3,000 rand for the same watch. So I
Oh.
thought, why can't I just
Okay,
get
you
this
saw the
and
gap
sell-
there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so
Fine,
from fossil, then you
yeah.
moved on. You progressed.
Yeah, then I built my website and slowly progressed as all my friends, you know, as I grew up, they got more money and they started supporting me, and then your network of people just built up,
Expanded.
and yeah,
Imagine.
snowballed
And you?
nicely.
You're connected. But Roland, in all fairness, Roland likes these niche. Roland is the guy that you will buy.
Yeah.
Let's go artwork.
Yeah.
It might be more popular. I will buy a Picasso. He will buy a Salvador Dali. Roland will come with some indie artist out of
Ah,
nowhere.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
have you guys heard of this guy?
100%, yeah.
We have not. Roland
Yeah.
is that guy in terms of watches. He wears Wagner. He knows all these niche brands
No,
that
so
just came
I-
out of nowhere that
I
win
sold
awards.
14 watches last month, of which 4 were JLCs. And
GG Lecoultre.
how many JLCs did you sell last month?
Not
No.
one.
Not one.
I haven't sold
I
one
like the
JLC
niche
in my whole life.
brands.
And I
like
love
the
it.
more boutique Coolidge stuff.
JLC, the Reverso,
Yeah.
the Geophysic
Yeah.
watch. The people don't know
Yeah.
JLC. The only time there's a popular
Yeah.
culture reference was in the movie Bad Teacher, where Cameron Diaz and Justin Timberlake in the movie, and he had money, and he's like, "What are you wearing?" GG Lecoultre, and she's like, Okay. Yeah, like she brushed. I'm like, wow, JLC for a fucking
Well
teacher.
done for pronouncing it right. So we're all saying JLC on purpose.
Yeah, we all say because no one can pronounce Jaeger. People read it Jaeger La Culture.
Yeah. So now my story is pretty brief. My folks got into the jewelry industry. I joined them after I finished up at school. And I think the most expensive brand we had when we started was Hallmark. It's a local South African brand. It's a 500-600 rand watch.
You get it at True. It's
yeah,
like
and things,
if you have an account.
Things grew from there, and eventually I think we had Hugo Boss. We thought they were Swiss made at the time.
Yeah, Hugo. And then I see they're trying now. I saw some billboards in South Africa. They're trying to get back into their market. Hugo Boss.
Fashion brands getting into the watch scene, I don't know, it just doesn't work. But then eventually we grew and we were authorized dealers for Tag Heuer, Omega, Zenith.
Zenith
BRM,
again, another underrated watch.
Graham, did you also do Graham?
We did Graham.
Again, not a lot of people know Graham. It's a decent watch brand.
Maurice
Proper.
when they did the whole Master Collection series as well. Rado, Longines, Tissot, Swatch. Oof, it was good times, yeah.
You dropped the names. You dropped some names on the floor there.
Rado
Rado was the whole ceramic thing. I never got into Rado, but Rado was very popular in Namibia.
Rado, from a design perspective, used to do some of the most interesting watches out. They were always left afield of what the rest of the industry was doing.
Yeah.
Ceramic is so popular on virtually every watch brand now, with ceramic cases,
ceramic cases, but they did everything ceramic, so you couldn't scratch your watch.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, the first watch that they did was actually that hard metal material that they used, and that's on the Rado original. Phenomenal piece. This is back in the 60s. Was already the whole outside of your watch couldn't be scratched from it. There's a lot of really interesting. So we did Frederic Constant. There's a lot of really interesting stories to tell from being an authorized dealer perspective.
But thank you for tuning in, Roland. Would you like to say something? Say goodbye.
Yeah, guys. Keep the passion up. Contact us. Chat to us about your watches. Yeah. Even if it's the smallest, what might seem to you as the silliest question, we're knowledgeable. We have time for you. We'll make the time.
I do.
But most importantly, we're passionate about it, and we want to share in that passion with you. It's great that we get to make money doing what we love, but we do fundamentally first. We're watch guys first. We love it. Chat to us about your pieces.
And no question is too small, because that's actually my next series of videos. I get asked, what is this? What is that? I need to do a video where it's just like, this is the bezel, this is the crown. You get your crown guards, your lugs. Because people are like, I talk, and I'm like, they're like, you said the bezel is this. I'm like, what's the bezel? And I'm like, well, sorry, it's this thing around the watch that you can. It has 150.
Just something, because you guys are now dealers. Don't you think it's like everyone's always thinking we are competitors, we're fighting each other, but it should actually be like, everyone should work together. The market is so small.
That's the market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We know what's going on. Like, if all the smaller dealers, bigger dealers, everyone works together, it brings us.
And look, we've found that change in the South African market, at least. That has changed tremendously over the last 2 years.
Not so much in Namibia. In Namibia, a lot of people are like very closed off. They're like, I'm not going to talk to him because he'll steal my idea.
Yeah, but jealous of that guy.
Yes, they're very he's doing this, I'm going to do the same thing. And I've had instances in Namibia where I've started a business, and then a friend who I brought in as a partner was like, I'm doing my own, and it's the same thing. I'm like, but okay. But what I like about working with you guys is that the growth is nice about that, and it's in Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. If everyone around the table eats, less people stab you in the back. And it's funny how it comes full circle. Paulo, I'll sell you this watch. I'm offering you this. No, thank you. Then they go to him or to Shane in Cape Town or Roland, and they're like, Paulo, have you seen this watch from Windhoek? I'm like, yes, I offered him this. Oh, I offered him less. And then they come back to me like, okay, now I'll take you off. And I'm not, sorry, now it came down.
When you horse trade, we do know, and we do talk about it.
Yes, that's what he's saying.
Screenshots are shared.
Yeah.
We're all well aware of what everybody else
We're all in a network together.
If anything, you're actually screwing yourself. The price goes down.
It happens to me a lot. People are like, no, I'll sell it in South Africa. I'm like, oh, good. I'm giving you a good price. I know what they're going to offer you. And then they come back to me like, okay, I'll take your... I'm like, no, now my price has come down to what the South Africans are offering me. You're fucked. And I'm one of those, like, it's cash now or I walk away, and I'm not afraid to walk away from it.
Do you do that, by the way? Do you put a timeline on your offers?
Normally like 3 days.
That's
3?
72
I ain't
hours.
got time.
Yeah or no?
That's nice for you. No, I ain't got time.
I think it's
But
fair.
he has more offers than I. He gets a lot more watches offered to him than I do.
I think it's absolutely fair. I think it's fair to say, I am willing to pay you this now for your watch.
Yeah.
Please let me know if you're taking it or not. Legally, there is that thing of, if you've rejected an offer, it's off the table. I get to re-offer. I get to go lower if I feel like it, if things have changed in the market or whatever. Look, I can understand that. The consumer's got to get as much money as they can out of their product.
Absolutely.
I don't mind that at all. Where I do mind it is where it's a flipper or a trader or, you know, guys who, you know, you grow a
I
relationship
get a lot
with
of
a guy,
that now.
you
Since
open
I've started
something,
this, and I started this quite a long time ago because of my passion with watches, and we met a long time ago. I think we met in what 26. No, when did I leave? 2018. We met the first time, and now all of a sudden I get so. Oh, I'm a watch trader, and maybe I'm like, oh, good. I've never heard of you. And they try to sell. I mean, someone tried to sell me a Yachtmaster the other day for $220. I'm like, that's what I sell them for. I'll offer you $150. He's like, no, but I can get more. Okay, good luck. He came back, and I'm like, no, now it's $140, $130. Everyone's a watch trader in Namibia.
Clients' expectations on what margins we're allowed to make.
Yeah.
Look, my business model is very different to yours, Adriaan. You put millions and millions of rands into product on your stock, right? You hold a watch. You will wait till you achieve the top end price for it. Completely get it. You also have how many offices around the country now? 3, 4? 5 offices around the country. Numerous staff, media production teams, insurance, you're legitimate, you're paying your taxes, everything that goes into running and operating a business. Where mine is very much, I don't think I've ever owned a watch for more than 72 hours. That's very quick in and out.
Yeah, yours is quick.
I flip, I trade a wholesale, you know. So for me, my margin can be significantly smaller, and it just needs to cover my personal expenses, and I'm absolutely fine. Yours needs to cover. I'm
in between
aware
the two,
of what an operation like this costs to run. We're not going to get into that. But do you find that when you've advertised the watch on your site for 600,000 rand, you put up a Rolex Daytona white dollar panda, complete set, unworn, lovely watch, you put it up for 600. You've put it up for 600 knowing you're not getting 600. You're going to get an offer based on the fact that it's advertised for 600. You're going to give 10% of the profit away to your staff member as a commission or something similar. I don't actually know what your staff earn, but that seems to be roughly the industry standard. You're going to pay 28% of your profits on taxes, and what's left of your profits needs to go into operating expenses and so on and so forth. Why is a client shocked and surprised when you offer them 500,000 rand for that watch?
They don't know what the costs are involved. They don't know the costs.
Yeah, they just see online and they think,
you know,
that's what they're going for. I get a lot of people when they see a watch that we buy for, let's say 500, we list it for 650.
Yeah.
Wow, we're making so much profit.
But there's a lot that goes into it.
There's a lot that goes into it at the back end. The bottom line that we're actually getting out is probably 50% of that after all expenses. Not
people
even.
see these numbers and assume we're balling, but not always. It's
and
there are costs involved. Verification of the watch, getting a new
for you, I mean, you do half of your watches. You have to fly to another country.
I fly to another country. I'm here literally. I'm in Johannesburg to meet them, pick up a watch from you. I want to buy that one from you. I came here just to pick up watches and fly back. It's cheaper for me to fly in, get the watch, go back, than DHL, and it's also more secure. It's a whole thing, and people don't see that. Like, why is your price so expensive? Then go get it in SA. How are you going to get it here?
And that's
then they're like, can you bring me the watch?
Can a regular person achieve the prices advertised in the market? So, you know, it's as simple as looking at me wanting to sell my car. I see on Auto Trader they start at 550. My car doesn't, but we're gonna, the car starts at 550. I've had dealers offering me 400 all day for my car.
They need to make their money.
I am now going to go and try and sell my car for 520
private.
to
Meet a guy at a garage or somewhere, fake EFTs.
Thank you very much.
Then you run that risk. That's the other thing that Adriaan offers is safety and security. And so does Roland and I. If you're buying a watch from me, you know what you're getting is authentic. It's been verified. For me, it's a lot of work in Namibia. I go run the watch against, since my previous issue we spoke about, I go and run the watch against the insurance database. I have a guy, he's like, okay, the serial number. And I tell my clients, if a watch gets stolen, tell the brand and tell your insurance company. They just like, my watch got stolen was a Rolex, but what Rolex? What serial number? Because it will eventually come back into the circuit. And we do all this. I go to the police station. I'm like, listen, I want to make a statement, the declaration that I have this watch with this serial number, and I declare whatever, so that if anything happens, I'm like, no, I did my job. The police looked at it. It hasn't been. They say it's not stolen because our database is not as high tech as yours. I checked against insurance database.
Our database is a piece of paper, but we still
same
work
with
on
me.
paper dockets.
But I've had issues where a guy sold me the watch. I paid him cash, and then he went to go claim it against insurance. And my insurance broker called me and said, hey, the serial number just popped up. I'm like, oh yes, the guy sold me the watch last week.
No.
I paid him, and he tried to get money from me and from the insurance company.
I've had literally that story where I've sold a watch, my clients received it, quite happy with it. A number of years down the line, it needs service, and it goes to Rolex. Sorry, sir, watch is a stolen watch. And Rolex will get in touch and say, hey, listen, we're confiscating this watch. We're going to call the police detective involved in the matter. Oh, great. who was the watch stolen from, if I may ask? Because I'm disputing ownership here. Very much from the get-go. You can't hold it back. You can't send it back to whoever says they own it.
Yeah,
I've got
you need to
paperwork that
dispute
says I
ownership.
bought it, and I just need to dispute this ownership. Oh no, well, you'll have to chat to the detective. The detective tells me it's Mr. So-and-so. Mr. So-and-so is the person I bought the watch from. Who immediately went and declared it stolen to his insurance so that he could get double the payout.
Double the payout.
Yeah.
That's the risk we run, though, as watch dealers. But okay, I think we've
Guys, don't be dodgy.
Time.
Adrian's klaar, bro.
Another level, yeah, with this.
You can pour me another one, and then we'll wrap up. Thank you guys for hosting me in Johannesburg. I always love being here. I just don't like the fact that I can't wear my watches here. But it's always a pleasure being in South Africa. I look forward to coming back to the next EFC event in South Africa when Drickus is fighting to get the
Adrian's
belt.
getting us tickets.
If it's I'll definitely get you.
Absolutely. I was really looking forward. I was hoping to meet him. Drickus, if you're watching, Tani Stella says hi. I'll never forget this, guys, because I'm also into watches, sports, football, MMA. I used to fight, whatever. The first Namibian to fight in EFC came from a gym that I helped start in Namibia in 2015, and that's when I came here. We watched. I was watching Leon Maynard versus Van Staden. My guy fought in the prelim card, and Drickus was on that card. And I was like, okay, Drickus, whatever. 2015. I'm in Dubai, 2018 or 19. I'm watching Khabib versus Poirier. And I'm waiting. I got there early. I'm watching prelim fights. Then the first fight on the main card is Drickus du Plessis. I'm like, oh, okay. Left side of the arena, and this was when Biggie came out. I'm in Abu Dhabi, and then I just hear one whole side of this arena, Damas, Seme Vachona. I'm like, okay, this guy's South African. I'm like, oh, Drickus du Plessis. Now he might actually fight for the fucking title. And then Izzy goes and loses to fucking Strickland, a number 5 on the card. After he beat 1, 2, 3, he loses to number 5. Izzy Strickland just walked him down. And I was wanting Izzy to win so that we can have, because Dana White promised there will be one UFC event in Africa this year, and I was hoping it would be Izzy versus Drickus in Johannesburg. I'm excited to come here.
That would
for
have been
that.
exciting.
It would have.
It would have been amazing.
And but you know how Uncle Dana is when you pull out of a main card fight, because obviously his foot was fractured. He didn't say that. He was being a real a Josie boy, because he didn't tell him, listen, I have an actual fracture. Dana White's like, no, now it's Paulo. Okay, but we're moving on to UFC. Watches, goodbye.
Done.
Okay.
Say your goodbyes,
Gentlemen.
guys.
Cheers, guys.
Ciao.
Thank you.